is being used forever, and he knows. But I want to tell him. I says, well, you don't need to tell him, but I want to contact him. I said, well, out of respect, I think it will be better if you didn't. She says, I don't want anything from him. She said, I've been married 33 years, but she's been talking to a scammer online for 6 months.
And I think it was on a dating app too.
It was. That was right. It was Christian dating. Very Christian of her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. So what we want to talk about today very much is what has been happening and is increasingly happening. And, we've said this over the months and years, that this is getting to be a big problem.
It
And
really is.
it's still getting to, it's not only getting a bigger problem, it's getting a nasty problem.
Yes, that's the sad thing about it, is the nastiness that some people have been doing.
I wish you could hear the noise she was making from here.
She's licking whipped cream out of the hole.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. So we used to have a situation, and I promise you, we used to have a situation where the real guys were never contacted. They
Right.
might get the odd comment. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Might get the odd comment on an Instagram page, but there's Mel laughing at us now. But you wouldn't get much now. It's vile. Now the thing is, if we talk about Tyler Thomas, and most of you know who Tyler Thomas is, he's not difficult to find.
Right.
Now, he's also not difficult to find out what he's doing right at this moment, but technical. So if we take Tyler Thomas, now he is accused, along with his wife,
Right.
often. Well, it must be you that's doing it. I've been talking to you, and they'll contact Tori, and they'll say, we're going to get married. I've sent him $4,000 to get out of Guatemala. That was either Tori or Riley Kay. But that's the sort of thing that's happening.
Right.
We've got massive amounts of he said here. And then if you go online, say you go to Instagram and you find out who Tyler Thomas is, or Kagan Dunlap, and you see the pictures, Tyler is in Japan. I'm not giving anything away there because it's on his Instagram. It's on his social media. Him and his wife and his children are in Japan.
Right.
He's not in Yemen. He's not in Guatemala. And he's not talking to women.
No. And both him and Tori mention this time after time after time.
They're not hiding. I mean, I remember talking to Riley Kay about it once. And she said that you don't know which way to go. Do you come off? Do you come off social media and not bother? They'll find a way of getting in touch with you. Do you stay on social media and let them get in touch with you? Because they're going to anyway,
Right.
And it is absolutely ridiculous. And yes, Mel, it's disgusting. Now, there is never a time when, to start out, we don't feel sorry for a scam victim.
Right.
The vast majority of scam victims are destroyed. They are emotionally raped. They are, as far down as you can get. And then there are the others.
Right. I mean, there comes a point or a line that they cross between coming, a victim / survivor, and someone that is nasty, harasses, says vile things, contacts the real person, calls the police on them, calls child welfare. I mean, a lot has happened.
I mean, and Sandy and I were saying this morning, that victims are learning to talk like scammers, because somebody, a woman who is on Tyler Thomas's going down to where Glim the King,
Yeah,
South American.
Glenn the King.
Glen,
She is nasty.
she is, and Marsha LR. So you've got things like, really, the kind of woman, this is about Tori Thomas. She's the kind of woman that will be that when he leaves for a mission, she cheats on him with other men. Now, somebody in the army, somebody in the military, they will say they're going to be deployed or they're going to be stationed somewhere.
Right.
The words aren't, I'm going on a mission, because they're two different things.
Exactly. I mean, to me,
So
a mission would be like a mission with a church or, some type of charity or something like that, a relief mission.
Well,
but
even a secret mission where they go off on their own to snipe people, and things like that. But and she cheats on him with other men is such a common scammer story. It is hilarious.
Right. And actually one that she said today, and I am going to read this word for word because it's nasty. You'll understand that with your help, thousands and thousands of women from all over the world are scammed and required special support to get out of this disorder. You have no idea how much suffering these type of victims go through. If you did, just inform yourself. You won't take the time or take it lightly. You don't realize how much damage you do. Close your accounts, soldier. No one cares about your life.
Oh no, she doesn't. She cares about his life so little that she's on there every day and commenting on everything he does.
Right.
Now,
and another comment is, as the youngest child grows up, his little friends from school ask him how much your mom charges. The one you find yourself while your dad goes on a mission, let him give us a discount.
yeah.
I mean, that is just plumb rude.
Well, what sort of mind thinks of that, to be honest with you? What sort of mind thinks of that? Now,
I don't know. If she was a victim once, I'm sorry for that. But she has turned into a harasser. And honestly, if she is going to say stuff like this, why does she even follow him at all other than to harass?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's criminal.
Mm-hmm.
What she's doing is criminal. And basically, I would rather, oh, my woman, just a minute.
That check woman in messages?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a mess. But, there's another comment that she made. Hopefully this is another one. Hopefully there is a war again in those countries, so you have to go on a mission and stop posting nonsense. No one wants to know how well you spend your children and your wife. It kind of doesn't make sense, but it kind of does. But why is she wishing him to go into a war zone? Is she that hateful? Is she wanting him to be injured or worse?
Yes, she does. I mean, she realizes that she can't come out and say it quite like that, but that is exactly what she means. Now, so here's another thing. We're going to send somebody to a war zone, like she wants to send them to a war zone, and fight for the freedoms and security of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But get the hell off social media, because we're not going to allow you to be on there. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Everybody should have the freedom to be on social media. You should have the freedom to post what you like. But there's some part of this that's never mentioned. And let's go back to who took those pictures in the first place? Who is making the fake accounts in the first place?
Right.
Or the second place, or the third place? Who are contacting these women using these pictures? Who are emotionally upsetting these women so much that they need special support. Who is asking for money and who is arranging to get the money? Because that's a little slice of scamming that seems to be ignored.
Exactly. The puppeteer in the middle that's pulling the strings.
Yeah. Because we've got it between the victim and the person who's had nothing to do with the scam, who's never spoken to these women. Hell, they must be very clever if they can do all these scams all at the same time. But
Well, I mean, say they're in the military. When do they have time to scam hundreds of women or men at the same time?
I mean, it's very clever. You've got to admit, it's very clever. But the person who is carrying out the scam, the person who is sending all these impossible love words, and I'll come on to them, and the person who is asking for the money, begging for the money, saying whatever it takes to get the money, who is making fake documents, making fake messages, making fake nice little pictures with "I love you, honey. It is me. I'm real."
Oh, and don't
That,
forget the AI videos.
yes, the AI videos with, "Well, this is, I'm just telling you, I'm real and I love you, baby." They're making those. They don't just appear out of thin air. They are making those as part of the crime. But
Exactly.
nobody brings them into it. It's like it's like they're just forgotten. Now,
Right.
they're the people that's doing this. They're the people that's taking. So you've got a little lad that sat in the Hilton Hotel in Nigeria with his little hustle kingdom, and he's having a whale of a time because nobody's blaming him. But he can
No.
get off with it. He can go out and spend the money this afternoon. He'll be round at Chanel and Versace buying some new handbags. But let's not blame him. Let's blame Tyler Thomas. Let's blame Steve Kaufman.
Well, and let alone what happened with Riley K.
Yes.
You know, we posted that warning, but she actually got a death threat and she thought she had the woman convinced. But then she kept talking to the scammers, and the scammers were emailing her from a fake Riley and, saying, "I want back with my husband, leave him alone," stuff like that. But it was bad enough that that woman actually sent a death threat that the scammer had written down.
And we live in a funny world. There are some
Mm-hmm.
crackpots out there. Some real crackpots.
Yes.
And how would you feel if you had somebody turn up at the door like Pierre Bonilla? Remember the time the lady turned up at the door with his wife and his daughter in the house? Knocked on the door and asked to speak to him? Now, let's go back to when you first, whether it's on social media, so say on Instagram or on Facebook or TikTok or whatever.
Right.
You get this comment. I'm always getting them. Always getting them.
Yes, I get a lot. And the last couple of days, they've been
Yeah.
so sickeningly sweet.
Yeah. So I mean I've just got one here now. Hello, beautiful. Who the hell does he think he's talking to? Because I wouldn't have anybody in real life treat me with that amount of disrespect. I mean, basically, if you're over 17, you're not going to call a woman who's nearly 70, hello, beautiful. It's no fun
No.
being nearly 70. Um, so we've got Elon Musk called me hello, pretty. You know, you can say you can say more back to them on Twitter. I think that's why I like it. You can swear at them and you don't get banned for a week. Um, so hello, pretty. And his bio simply says greatest God. Well, there you are, Mel. You see?
exactly, baby.
So my response to this person was, I hate the way you Nigerians use God in your scams. It's vile. You're heathens, all of you. So he said, how dare you refer to me as one of them? I'm I'm very transparent and innocent, and I don't know what you're talking about. So then I said some things I'm not going to say on here. Please don't insult me, and don't be very stupid and rude. I didn't persuade you to communicate with me. Go to hell, you old wicked fool. And then just to finish it off, he gets really romantic. Go to hell and burn to ashes, you wicked old woman. So, you know, some of them do have a little bit of a temper, an anger problem. But you see, that is what you're talking to. So when we get, and we know this, good evening, Christina. When you get this, good night, my darling, I'll see you in your dreams and we can be together and walk along a moonlit beach, all of this stuff. So when you get that, basically what's behind it is some little scrot, which is a very English word, which Mel will understand. Go to
Well, I
hell and
know
burn
that
to
word
ashes, you.
too.
Yeah, yes, it's a good word. It's so descriptive. You know exactly what you mean when you call somebody a scrot. Um, go to hell and burn to ashes, you wicked old woman. You know what the love words and everything are just written down for them, and they're all lies to get where you want to go. And yesterday we had the old lady who was looking for, and whose name escapes me, but she kept saying to me she didn't have closure.
Oh, and we get that a lot.
Mhm. They can only get closure when they talk to the real man. So she didn't have closure. Hi, Dana.
I
Dana.
didn't.
Dana sent me an absolutely beautiful birthday present. Well, it was lots. It was a box full of stuff. Basically, I am going to describe it as flowers and calories.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. I had scones last night. There's
Oh,
chocolate. There's biscuits. Oh, I'm not kidding you, Sandy. It's disgusting. There are
it's,
so many. Oh,
it's
yes.
so disgusting. You're going to have to taste test it all to make sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I've had chocolate. I've got cake in the fridge. Oh, honestly, Dana, it was magnificent. I'm not even looking at the calories, Dana, because I have thinking if it's a birthday present and it's on a weekend, it doesn't have any.
Yeah, it
Um,
doesn't count.
no, it doesn't, does it? Um, so yeah, so you know, so basically, you've got this woman who's telling us she can't have closure until she contacts the real man. The real man was never speaking to her. So why doesn't she take this up with the Nigerian? Seems logical to me. Hey, Nigerian, why did you scam me? Why did you pretend to be this fella? Why did you say these things to me? Now, this is the one, Sandy, that we mentioned at the time. She'd been talking to him for 3 months and she was madly in love with him.
Yeah,
And can you remember how long
that's
she said it was ago before her husband died?
3 or 4 months,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So right when her husband died, she must have been contacted by this scammer, and she's enjoyed the romance ever since. I mean, her husband mustn't have been cold in his grave, and contacted the scammer and has enjoyed the love and attention. And she said he was somebody to talk to in the wee small hours.
Yes,
Get a book.
exactly. In fact, I would rather read a book than read that sickeningly sweet stuff that they send.
Yes. I'm going to tell you a little story, Dana. Not on here, but I'll tell you a little story. Remember the book that we bought in Harrods? It's funny. Dana and I split up in this bookstore, and we were looking round, and we both bought a book. And when we got to pay for it, we picked up the same one.
Wow, great minds think alike.
Yeah, I see if I can see it. Have I got it here? I might have. It might be in my bedroom. Um, but it's thoughts for an imperfect world, or thoughts for imperfect people, and I opened it randomly, and I read something out to Chris the other night. My grandson's had a breakup with his girlfriend, and it was just so right. It was just so perfect for what it was. It had to be. But yeah, get a book.
Exactly.
This lady was in her 70s. Now,
Mhm.
how many years have you sat during the night texting people? Not
Well,
many
yeah,
years ago,
because
you
your
would have had a
husband's going to
book.
be asleep right next to you unless he
Hmm.
works graveyard shifts, but then he's not home to talk to. So,
Yeah. So why do you want somebody in the wee small hours to text? Now, it wasn't just that because she was getting lots of romance
right.
from him, and she wasn't complaining about that.
Mm-mm.
You know, um, in contact with the fake Jorge Morel. Yeah, he's a good-looking man. Some of them aren't. Oh, Sandy, I've got. I'll see if I've kept him. I got one this morning that. Oh, Sandy, you would have. He was about 85. Poor man. I don't know where they got his picture from, but yeah, it was scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as good-looking men were concerned. I have to say. Um, but ladies, we have got to get you on side to have respect for the victims of scams, and that is yourself, and that
Right.
is the photo victims too.
And their family and friends.
Yes, everything to do with them, because you hopefully will only be scammed once. They're
Right.
used in scams 1,000 times a day. So if you think that a good proportion of those people who they're being used with are trying to get in touch with them.
Right. And, we have several that put out warning videos and say, there was one today I sent you from TikTok. I
Mm.
don't care.
Yes, I'm
I
you
mean,
doing that
he
one now.
was
Yeah, yeah,
frustrated. Um, they get contacted so much, some of them try to be nice at first.
yeah,
We've got Edward Bryan. He's really a sweet guy and he does try to help, but there comes a point where you get frustrated. So then you get the opposite side that say, I don't care. Leave me
yeah.
alone.
And you can understand that. I mean, Edward even got confronted on a flight.
Yes, he did.
A woman saying, "You look very much like my brother-in-law." Well, my sister's going to be husband, and of course, when she showed him a picture, it was Edward, and her sister was in a scam. At least she was polite about it. That wasn't
Yeah.
too bad, but it was awful for him to have this.
Well, right. How would you like to walk through an airport or get on a plane, which he is a steward on a
He's a
plane?
flight
Yeah,
attendant, yeah,
flight attendant. So he could run into hundreds of people a day, and
yeah,
even just one person could see him because his photos are used a lot. And reach out to him or say, hey, I was scammed using your photos, and they could say it loudly enough that other people on the plane could hear. That's also embarrassing.
yeah,
You he might be nice about it, but honestly, at
yeah.
some point, it would get to the point where you'd be embarrassed. So, and
They do start. I remember when I first met Shane Nichols, and he was
yes,
so polite and he was so kind, and he would video call people back, and he would spend time with them, and then he made one video, his first of his ranting videos. And, "I don't care. Do not contact me. I know, I know." And I thought, oh, bless him, because he'd been so sweet and kind and understanding. And even if you push a person like Edward and Shane, you're pushing them because they're not naturally not nice people. Yes, Jorge Morel is famous, Maria, but the thing is that, how shall I say it? Good looking men are not even on dating sites, you tend to get very ordinary men on dating sites, and they're probably the nicest people in the world. But
Exactly.
they might not be as handsome as Jorge Morel. But they'll
No, and
be.
I mean, I honestly had a lady a while back. You know, she went to her church dances. There was 4 women to 1 man, and she didn't like the men at the church because they were ugly old men, and she was in her 70s.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, he might not be the best looking man, but is he nice?
yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but
our lady who only just been widowed. I said to her, You're in your 70s. Is it really necessary that you have a man? You know, well, I'd like to somebody to talk to and travel with. Well, again, does he have to be a sort of, film star model type? Looks aren't everything. I've had 2 husbands, and they're not. I didn't choose either of them on looks, you know. Um, and I'll go back to my favorite story is the lady in New Jersey who met who used to come to us every day, just about, is this one, is this one, is this one, and then one day we couldn't find him on a search, and I said, be careful, be very, very careful. I said, but I can't find him, and this one sounds all right. But he was just a little old man, in the picture he'd sent to her was an upper ladder painting, and she came back to us. And she was so happy. He was an ordinary little old man. He did house painting for a living, and he painted her whole apartment, so she was very happy with him. But he was a very ordinary man, and he was lovely. And I can honestly say they lived happily ever after. So it can happen, but be
yes,
careful.
it can. I mean, I've met a couple of men on dating sites. Yes, they are not, celebrity model hot or young military hot, but they were really nice, and I'm still friends with both of them after over 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't date them, but they're nice to talk to here and there.
I
I
mean, some
wouldn't
of
travel with
these,
them though.
see, I mean, some of the women that we talk to are lovely people. They're not the best looking people, they're not the best looking ladies in the world.
Right.
So apply the same thing to a man. But let's go back to what we wanted to talk about today, which is Steve Kaufman's wife was pregnant, right?
Yes.
And there were stories on his Instagram, which he abandoned at one point. So the stories were building up. But he was that down with it, he just abandoned it. There were stories on there of, well, the other child wasn't his, that he doesn't really want this one. She forced him to get pregnant. And, he was hoping it was going to die. He was hoping that it was going to miscarry. When the baby
Yeah.
was born, they were saying, well, it doesn't look like him. Are you sure you're the father?
He
And
looks
there
just like
was
him.
exactly like him. I don't know where they were looking, but it really was a little Steve. And there was lovely pictures on there, because if you are used in scams, you are not Jorge Morel. You are not, Keanu Reeves. You are a very ordinary person, and it's like Tyler Thomas, and he once said to me, he gets paid a little bit for
Yeah, he's
product.
monetized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And he says, I'm a husband with kids. Any extra money is good money. Um, and so you can't blame. Why should he not do it? He's not the one making the blooming money. There are 7 fakes account on Facebook because photos were stolen from a digital creator in Rio de Janeiro, and Facebook won't shut them down. Facebook never do. 2 Irish scammers. See, I don't get this, because most people know that if they say oil rig, it's a scam.
Right, because the oil rigs, the military, the doctors are so very common. I mean, the minute they say, I'm on an oil rig in Norway, I mean, it should
Gone.
be block. Yeah.
It should be. It should be gone. I was talking to a guy on an oil rig from here. In the week. A guy, I live in an oil rig town, so a lot of the men. He was explaining to me why the Gulf of America, the Gulf of Mexico now became the Gulf of America. I was fascinated by that. It wasn't so stupid as it sounded when he first did it. But that wasn't to do with a scam. But we started to say, you're on Facebook and you get "Hello, pretty." Well, if anybody said that to my face, he would get his face slapped. So I mean, that wouldn't last very long. Why do you just then go, "Oh, he thinks I'm pretty," and I would like to get to know you more better. Oh, all right then. And oh, I wasn't very nice to that one. Hi, friend. How are you doing at the moment? Happy new month. Welcome to the month of March. Nice meeting you. I believe that meeting with you here is the handiwork of fate, and with sincere, true love, this is your second message. And the understanding that we are the best people to see, and they envy us. Let us give it time and see what the future holds for us. Will you accept my friendship? So I said no. Let me get it on here because it's easier to read. So I said no.
I had a general that I had to laugh at because I was telling him, he was a, excuse my language, effing scammer, and he shouldn't be calling me honey. And he said, "You don't know me, and it's not right to be rude. Not everyone here is a scammer. Please respect my position and office." And I'm thinking, what position, on the floor in a hotel room in Nigeria?
Yeah. I mean, come on. They don't even sound like they're sort of technical. Now, I've got something from this one that I've never had before. Just give me a minute to read it out. That was the one who said I wasn't going to get to know him more better. I totally understand you more better, and I'm here for friendship. I'm a legitimate man who chatting. I'm not here for any scam artist plans. I can prove myself if you want me to do such a full ready. I'm here for this. I will always respect your opinion and patience all day. Then there was some little sort of pointed down fingers. One, our friendship might be the best friendship or relationship with time, close friendship you've ever had, and I'm in no rush to change this. Two, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm happy to keep it platonic. Three, I love our friendship just the way it is. No labels, no drama, just us. Four, our friendship is my happy place and I don't need anything else. Five, you're my person, my partner in crime and my favourite friend. No romance required. Please feel free to pick the one that you like the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mel, I could pick which one I liked the most. That wasn't, I mean, it wasn't just sending me one at a time. He sent me five and I could pick the one. I mean, that is cutting down time in a scam, isn't it? Really? Rather than,
Yeah.
I'll send one at a time. I'll send five and see which one you like best.
I wonder how often that worked. Might be
Well,
probably a lot, but
he then decided to come clean.
oh, he's cute.
Yeah, lovely. He's God fearing though.
Oh, of
God
course.
fearing, grace is better than grade. I give up. Because Sandy, and we say this all the time to ourselves, and it's very difficult to say this open. Yes, exactly, Jane. None of the above. But honestly, I did have a bit of a laugh at it because I thought, well, that's, pick your best chat up line. What? How time saving is that? But we when they confess, they will say, well, it's because it's a poor country and the government's bad. Do you know what? Nigeria is the richest country in Africa. There are countries that are horrendously more poor than Nigeria, and they don't scam. Nigeria is just mired in fraud. It's what they do. They've done it since the Nigerian prince. But we sort of aren't allowed to say it out loud too much, because if we do, we're racist. It's not. And ladies
No.
and gentlemen, we deal with scams, and there's Mel and there's Dana, and they will all tell you because we do this every day. And people say not all scams are Nigerian. Sorry. How many have we had that haven't been, Sandy?
Honestly, I would only say one or two, but most are. Most military romance fraud, well, all of military romance fraud are coming out of Nigeria. Oil
And the
rigs.
oil rig and contractor as well, because they're all the same, all the same ones. I had one that was from Italy, a guy who was from Italy, and he went and confessed, and he was an illegal migrant in Italy, and he was making money that way.
Oh,
And I had
I
another
remember that.
and then the one from Cyprus, who started to tell, who was another illegal migrant in Cyprus, telling me how bad it was and how hard it was to live over there. Exactly the same words as they use for Nigeria, but putting Cyprus in, and he was still bloody Nigerian. So I'm sorry, this is it's not racist. This is in their DNA. This is what they do.
Well, if you go, say, on the FBI website and you look up internet fraud and who's been arrested for it, go look at the names on those reports. And they actually just extradited, what, 2 or 4 from Canada into the US to be tried. And guess what? They were Nigerians.
Yeah.
And I mean, so many are, most of the internet fraud that aren't, they are, like homegrown, more money laundering with drugs and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with romance fraud. But honestly, Nigeria, they have all kinds of excuses as to why they do this, but I don't understand. I'm not racist either. I have friends that are black, white, purple, pink, yellow, whatever. It doesn't matter to me as long as they are a good person. But if you go to Nigeria and everything that they say, I don't see how they can live with themselves. So yes, they should be God-fearing.
I mean, as Jen said, the excuses are just another set of scripts, and they are, Jen. And the worst thing is, that, when you've been scammed once, and then he confesses, let's go through the whole thing. You are only seeing his set of stories where Jen's been around the block long enough, and she's seen as well. And we see everybody's story, so we see that the stories are the same. And so, we see that they come to us with all the same stories. And ladies will come to us and say, well, actually, he fell in love with me while he was scamming me, so he confessed, and we're best of friends now. I'm sorry, but that is all part of the scam.
Right. And another way, if you didn't give them your ID and stuff like that before, they're going to ask for it again. And they'll, oh, I'm going to school and I'm so poor, or I'm trying to feed my family and I'm so poor. So they're actually, and I hate to say this, at that point, to me, it's not scamming, it's begging.
Yeah. Well, it really is. I mean, it's not nice either, Even if they confess, how can you even be sure it's the same scammer since it was all based on lies to start with? And the thing is, Mel, how many times have we had confessions? And how many times, as part of those confessions, have they given the money back? Because
None.
I can tell you, we have confessions hundreds of times. How many times have they given the money back? None. Absolute none.
Yep.
You know,
Pay me a $50 gift card and I'll give you your money back.
yeah. I have never known anybody. There was one lady who'd got she'd given $30-something thousand, and I said to her, so when is he sending the money back? Oh, well, actually, she said, I've just talked to him, and he's bought a farm. But
Oh,
she
yeah.
said he has put my name on the deeds. Oh, what good's that? That's $30,000 that you could have had back, because now you're paying off a loan for his farm. But
Well,
you don't.
if there is even a farm, the
Yeah,
deed is probably a fake document in the first place.
yeah. They make them sort of so easily. So let's get down to what is behind a scam. It is not Tyler Thomas. It is not Steve Kaufman. It's not Jorge Morel. It's not even a good-looking man at all. It is somebody like, let me get back to my man. It's somebody, oh dear. He calls
Yeah.
himself Big Sam. This is Big Sam that was madly in love with me within 2 minutes. You know.
He should be Big Sam Liar or Big Liar Sam.
He's probably not called Sam. He'll be Temitope Wally. I mean, he's not going to be Sam, is he? I like it when they say, well, if you say to them, and what's your name? Edward, Michael, anything. And I think,
Help
that's
it.
not you.
How do you stop it?
Oh, I did have one that told me on Twitter, told me he was really called Elvis.
Oh, Elvis, huh?
Now, Mel will maybe know what I mean if I said, do you work down the chip shop? Because there's an old song that says, there's a man works down the chip shop, says he's Elvis. And because everybody, keeps saying, oh, poor Elvis is still alive. He must be about 110 by now, if he was. But yeah, I'm sorry if you thought that you were going to marry Tyler Thomas. I love the glow in the dark shell suit, but if it's not that, it's checks. We had one that looked like a chessboard. Everything, his shoes, his tracksuit, he had a pull down, woolly hat, and it was all black and white checks. I mean, they could have just locked him up in it, and it would have done as a prison suit. Yeah, we'll have to have a Kelvin Klein live chat one day, Sandy. Let's get a bit of humor into this.
Yeah, we do need to do humor here and there. Romance scams are, and any scams are very serious business. So,
Yeah.
part of healing is learning to laugh. And so, if you do a funny one, yeah, the teddy bear prints, those are funny.
Oh, you can get them. You can get them with nice, like a fluffy teddy bear sewn on the front,
And
and then you can have a back.
matching man bag.
Yes, you can. I've seen those ones. They're very fetching, especially when they're in pink, because the boys do like the pink over there. But the idea that somebody is, yes, we will, Jen. We'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Maybe a gin and tonic mixed in to the night.
I'll have
I have
orange
2 gin and
juice.
tonics. Yeah, she doesn't drink, so I'll have to have 2 gin and tonics.
One for each hand.
Oh, that is such a good idea. Lottie does that. I should copy her. But maybe if we can get through to people who are just scamming, they might not be as awful, and they might not be as quick to attack the guys in the pictures, because that's got to come to an end. It's no good
really
for the victim. It's no good for them. It's no good for their families. And what really, really worries me is the one Sandy read out earlier, that little child is just a little child now. But what
I think he's what, 3?
what happens in 10 years' time when they're still using those still same pictures? When he can read about what's being said? Maybe
Exactly.
somebody, was it Cruz Stansbury, where they contacted his son
Yes.
and said all sorts of things to him?
Well, Cruz had blocked her. She got
That's right.
scammed by
Mm-hmm.
his photos, and she had tried to contact him, and he finally blocked her. So what does she do? She contacts his oldest son, a teenager, and
Yeah.
said, "Can you tell your dad to unblock me?"
Yeah.
And I mean, really, the nerve.
Yeah.
That is that line that you cross between victim and harasser.
It is. And one very, very good one that's online is Jesse Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, he mentioned one where he was not at home when this happened, but apparently the scammer said his wife was on drugs, meth
yeah,
head and all that. So they called child services. Child services showed up at their home and interviewed the children each separately to make sure things were not going bad.
yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the trauma on the children too? I mean, awful.
You know, you sat there, you're the mother, you've got to have child services coming in, they're talking to your children. It's bad enough that they're using Jesse. Now, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Jesse.
I do too.
I will, yeah, he's a big favourite of ours. Okay, he's drop dead gorgeous, but he's also a really nice person. And he is a big favourite of ours. And to have that happen is just horrendous. It is beyond comprehension for those
Well,
children
another
and that
story
poor woman.
too is the scammer said that he was committing suicide and they could hear the blood gurgling out of his throat. So all of a sudden, there's a bunch of police that show up at their family farm, starting to go through all the buildings looking for him.
Yeah,
I mean, trauma for that whole family.
yeah.
And all
And
because of somebody sitting in another country. They lied and told the person that, and they believed it. He said, and she did. Oh, bye,
I've
Dana. Enjoy California.
oh, happy birthday, Pega.
Yeah, happy
It's his
birthday to Pega.
sister's birthday. Um, yeah. Now, I think as well, you know, the trauma on that lady victim would have been so bad that it got, you know, where she had to report somebody to child services. I mean, we've reported people that we thought suicidal who you did when you know,
Yeah,
the accused
I've
one of our
contacted
guys of
people for,
abducting, yeah,
right.
of
I've
abducting
contacted for
somebody.
welfare
Yeah,
checks. So, but it can be traumatizing for the victims. I mean, can you imagine being that victim? And, she said she could hear him with blood gurgling out of his throat. That is traumatic.
yeah.
And the scammers are doing that. And,
They'd have
they,
taken that as a sound clip from somewhere so that they could play it. I mean, they love things like that.
right. And they would have been laughing
Yeah,
and throwing a
yeah.
party
We know
about
that.
this,
We know this.
where, Jesse's family was very traumatized.
Yeah.
And the victim too. No. I mean, blame the scammers.
Every single time. And we're going to have to work on this. We really are. Because you've got somebody, I'm sorry, scam boys, but you've got somebody who looks like Jesse Phillips, who's a family man, who's a hard worker, and he's got lots of children, and they'll probably have lots more. And, you know, he's got, hi, Amy, and he's got fabulous family.
Yes, he
There's
does.
150 brothers, and they've all got lots of children, and everything's okay. And you know they go to mom and things like this, and so you think of Jesse Phillips, then you think of Big Sam, You know,
Yeah.
you think of Tyler Thomas, then you think you've got somebody like Big Sam's on the other end. And I'm sorry, Big Sam, but no wonder you use other people's pictures.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm not all of them are ugly. Some of them have bad attitudes that make them that way.
Yeah. And some are just ugly, but never mind. So
Mama hit him with the frying pan.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I said this to Dustin the other day. I said I think Mum dropped him on his face when he was when he was young. But yeah, you know, because Dustin can get very resentful, and you can realize why.
Oh,
You know, you can realize that
yeah. And he's
they
another
use
one that his boys are going to have to read
yeah,
some of this stuff when they get older. In fact, they've seen it.
they've seen it. I mean, we've talked about it before. They
Mhm.
sent me a lovely video from your birthday, both the boys and him.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, they'd been out on the actual day, so they couldn't call me because um Bronson he's on the school soccer team, so he was out doing that. So they sent me a video, which was lovely. Very said I got and I got a video of Caesar as well. I got lots, and I got a video of somebody down there, didn't I? You?
Well, I made that video for the page for your birthday, and I really want to say thank you to all of our followers. There has been so much love shown to our queen for her birthday.
It was very touching. It was. We have the most amazing followers in the world. We really do. I wish the whole world could be like our followers, because not only do they know, and they don't, you know, they know, they spread the word. And also, if somebody comes on the page and they say something wrong, the followers will put them right. Usually in a nice way. I'm not saying that, you know, we don't have wars, but usually if somebody says something, there will be somebody that follows it up. Now we have, you know, two ladies who police our page, because obviously we've got to be careful about what we have left,
Right.
because you know we can't be racist, we can't be insulting or anything. So we do have the page is monitored. Um, but you know, if somebody comes on, there is always somebody that will follow it up and say, but it's this, but it's this. And then if somebody comes on and says, I've been talking to this person, I've been scammed by this person, there will always be somebody that comes on and says, oh, I'm really sorry for that. You know,
Right.
we've got the most amazing people that follow our pages, and it's it's humbling sometimes to see how nice they are. It really is.
It is. It is. So, yeah, the birthday I thought was just, the responses were fantastic. Kind of brought
It
tears
was.
to
And
my eyes, some of them.
well, yes, it did to me, because I'm thinking, you know, as Sandy knows, I have quite a few crises of confidence, and sometimes I sort of don't do things for ages because I keep thinking, can't really do it. And when you see things like that, it just really does help, even if I'm a knackered old woman, you know.
But I think we're running close to out of
But
time.
we are. So, um, so we'll be back next week. I've got Dustin on Tuesday. I'm going to try and get Caesar sometime this week, and um, we'll see. You know, I'm going to see if we can, you know, sort of get some more of the guys to do live chats. I think Sandy had one or two lined up.
Yeah, I have some that I've been in contact
Mm,
with, but trying to schedule is
yeah,
a little rough
it's
sometimes, especially
it
where
is.
they work, and I can go around their schedule, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I was gonna, you know, see if Riley Kerr would do one as well, because
She would be
I have
good.
talked to, yeah,
Yeah,
I have talked to, I've done them with Kagan as well. So it would be good to get it from, you know, from their side as well. So we will be back with more. Spread the word, everybody, and
exactly.
please let us protect the photo victims, because they deserve our protection.
They
So
do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Honestly, it was just a cup of tea, but I do be late. Do you like me cup, boss lady? Gina, talk about somebody who comes in at the end of the party. Bye, everybody. Bye,
Bye.
Sandy.